So in the Middle East, the United States military carrying out a second night of airstrikes against Iran.
And Tehran staging its own wave of attacks, targeting U.S. allies across the Gulf region.
And our bases in that region, Alexandria Hoff joins us now from the White House. Alexandria.
Well, good morning to you. Yes, U.S. Central Command confirms a second consecutive wave of strikes targeting military infrastructure in southern Iran, also coastal Iran. These strikes have been described as more aggressive than the initial wave that we saw earlier this week, sparked by attacks on commercial ships in the Strait of Hormuz. Tehran has responded by targeting neighboring nations, including Kuwait, Bahrain, and Qatar. Now, Iran taking up much of the talk in Turkey, where President Trump just was for the NATO summit. There he said the fragile ceasefire deal signed last month is over.
It's sort of crazy, to be honest with you. They're sort of crazy. They're a little bit out of control, but they want to make a deal. Badly.
Yeah, so President Trump's still hoping for that deal. He arrived back at Joyce Bay Andrews after 1 this morning, flying partway home on an old Air Force One, not the new recently revealed jet. The president brushed off this having to do with potential security concerns, but did acknowledge in Turkey the ever-present threat he faces.
The life of a president is very dangerous. It's 5.2%. You know what a race car driver is? 1/10 of 1%. It's a very dangerous profession. No, I'm number one on the kill list for Iran.
Now, the key figures on Iran's negotiation team lobbying threats, accusing the U.S. of breaking promises. Speaker of Parliament and really considered the top negotiator, Mohammad Gallup, threatening America with this. He wrote in part, "If you strike, you'll get hit. Don't flail around pointlessly or you'll sink even deeper. The Strait of Hormuz will only open with Iranian arrangements, not American threats." So when the president is scheduled today after his early arrival back at the White House, he will have his intelligence briefing later this afternoon, guys.
Thanks, Alex. Appreciate it. This just goes to show how determined they are to control the Strait, because it's really about controlling the Strait.
That's all they have.
And that's all they have. But they also are able to sell their oil at market prices. They're also in a process within 60 days of beginning to unfreeze their funds. But they are focused because their new nuclear weapon is that Strait. That's going to be a source of revenue for them and a way to choke off any adversary next time that there's some type of conflict or turbulence with Iran. They'll say, okay, I'm going to shut it down again and see how you're going to get your natural gas and see how you're going to get your oil products. So they are determined to do this, even if it costs them their legitimate oil revenue, even if it costs them lifting up the sanctions. So we're going to have to, this is where it's heading. We're going to have to take back the Strait. We're going to have to establish lines where the drones are able to shoot and hit a ship. We got to push them back to the point where those drones aren't able to hit, or we're going to have to be able to knock that down in order to get merchant commercial vessels to go through there and insurers to insure vessels to go through there.
I agree with you, Brian, that we got to take it over, and we have to send the message that they can't no longer use this as a tool for political pressure. Not real pressure, but just political pressure. It's not a military pressure. It's to engage politically against the president domestically, but the international community, they had to step in because they actually need the Strait. They actually need the oil to go back. We don't, even though it's a global market. So they have to back us up publicly and militarily if we decide to do that.
And the Middle East allies, I think, have demonstrated time and time again, and certainly notwithstanding yesterday when NATO claimed to step up a little bit, with the exception of Spain, that's where our allieships lie. And that's also where the toxicity and the when a tumor metastasizes, where they've been affected. So prior presidents have not had the deals and the allyship with the Middle East Gulf region neighbors that we have, and this is demonstrated in the continued pressure economically and militarily against Iran, because certainly right now the triage is nothing is more important than, to your point, the freedom and navigable aspect of the Strait of Hormuz, which Iran insists on pirating.
They want the Gulf states who are a little freaked out, Saudi Arabia and Qatar specifically, to say, listen, let us just control the Strait and we'll stop rocketing you. So they hit Bahrain and Qatar again.
Like the mob.
So, so we'll do that. So we have to show that we got their back, and we have to show aggression to finish the job, because we don't want to leave a wounded animal in the wounded lethal animal in the middle of that area. So we had backed off and said, here's a ceasefire. The MOU was not good, but it was to get us to talks and settle the price of oil down. The one thing we need is a different negotiating team. If we go to negotiations, and that's a big if, this team can't do it. The vice president leading the way with Steve Witkoff and others, they should focus on Ukraine. Have a different team go in there, and we should demand different people. The foreign minister's a waste of time, and the speaker's a waste of time. The IRGC's calling the shots, so why are we pretending to talk to the other guys? Talk to the people that make the decisions, even knowing ahead of time that they're not to be trusted. Maybe our answer is, once and for all, take the Strait, hold the Strait, and then we show the rest of the world that we can control the oil prices because we're controlling the Strait. And maybe that gets us where we want to go, and we continue to strangle the regime and forget about giving them unfrozen funds. And we need these Gulf states to go into the Iranian bank accounts and control all of them because they put all their money, they convert it to dollars, and they stick it in Bahrain, they stick it in Qatar, they stick it in UAE, they stick it in Saudi Arabia. Now, the Treasury Secretary evidently yesterday has convinced them to hold on to their money. So this is the type of pressure that's the only thing they understand.
Yeah, they can't do deals behind our backs and under the table as well. Like I said, it's like paying the mob off for their own security. I will say this, though.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.